Yeah, sorry.
Good morning. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please welcome Andrew with this morning's announcements.
Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 10th, and it's a white day. Student government will meet right after school today in Fuller Basement. Please see Mr. Ryan with any questions or concerns. Attention international students. Any student wanting to take the May 10th TOEFL must register by 12 p.m. tomorrow. See Mrs. McCaffrey in Colby 106 with any questions. There is an informational meeting for the Blue Ridge Mountain hiking trip today at 3 o'clock in Ranger 210. If you are interested in the trip but cannot attend, please email Ms. Hibbert at andrew.hibbert@stjacademy.org. There are currently 1,436 children in Vermont foster care systems. To help improve their transitional experiences, please consider donating to the drive being held in the front lobby of the Fieldhouse. We are looking for items such as toiletries, skincare products, backpacks, toys, blankets, and other clothing, with an emphasis on backpacks, clothing items, and toys. Please reach out to Riley Strom with any questions. Thank you for your support. Happy birthday today to Mackenzie Jerome, Oliver Kamen, Lily Ross, and a special happy birthday to Peter Liao from your friends. Happy birthday. Today we have JV baseball and softball home versus Brattleboro at 4:30 and varsity baseball and softball at Brattleboro at 5. Please release the teams at 1. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Andrew. A few late announcements. On Sunday, April 6th, 9th grader Layla McGarvin represented the Green Mountain girls wrestling team at the Vermont USA Wrestling Freestyle and Greco tournament. Layla earned an impressive second place in the U16 category for her weight class, competing against talented wrestlers from both Vermont and New York. An additional thank you to senior Brooke Davis for continuing to mentor Layla postseason. Brooke's senior season ended abruptly due to injury. And prior to that injury, Brooke had been ranked as the #1 female wrestler in New England in her weight class. Congratulations go out to Layla and Brooke. Great job. And spring sports results are starting to roll in. The varsity girls lacrosse team defeated Linden Institute 12-1 in the first game of the season. Maggie Langlis, Orleans German, Devlin Murphy, and Molly Kimber each scored 1 goal. Riley O'Brien added 3, and Meredith Rogers scored 5 goals for the win. Ella Blanchard and Addison Scott combined for 4 saves in goal. Great start to the season. Girls lax. And the varsity boys lacrosse team also beat Linden Institute 14-5. Scoring for the Hilltoppers was Jacob Emerson with 5 goals. Derek Reynaud and Mateo Bitar each with 2. And James Hatch, Dominic Robinson, Jackson Fisher, Konstantin von Namen, and Grady Davis each had a goal. Congratulations, boys lacrosse. We ran out of time on Tuesday, but it's my pleasure today to recognize some of our alpine racers who have received awards from the state of Vermont and also beyond. So we have several athletes I'm going to call to the stage to present them their certificates. But I'd like to point out, like many of our sports and other activities that take place away from campus, it's difficult to appreciate some of the things that are happening. And so it's always my pleasure to recognize those athletes and also performers and those of you who are active and achieving at a high level. it's my pleasure to present certificates like this because these athletes don't often get much recognition. We're not on the slope side usually when they're racing to recognize them. So again, my pleasure to recognize these athletes. So we have athletes who have been awarded all-state awards, and they are Zane Faherty, Zach Alamuddin, and Henry Zemp. We have an athlete who has made the Eastern States team, so a very select team, and that's Colton Evans. And then finally, our All-State recipient and an Eastern States championship team is Andrew Gorman. So if I could have those athletes come on up to the stage. Henry? Well, Henry's not here. I'm sorry. Colton. Zach. And Henry's here. Congratulations. And now it's my pleasure to turn the stage over to 4 students who were recently at the State House for Youth Advocacy Day. Please join me in welcoming them. Come on up.
Hi everyone, my name is Hannah.
I'm Ava.
I'm Sophia.
I'm Lennon.
So, on March 11th, we had the incredible opportunity to attend Advocacy Day in Montpelier, a dedicated day of action and awareness for suicide prevention. This event, organized with the support of the Vermont chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, brought together advocates, community members, and policymakers to discuss the urgent need for improved mental health support and suicide prevention initiatives.
During the day, we engaged with local and state representatives to discuss policies aimed at strengthening mental health resources and addressing gaps in our system. These conversations reinforced the critical role of advocacy in shaping legislation that prioritizes mental health funding, crisis intervention, and support for individuals and families affected by suicide. It was a powerful reminder that real change starts with open dialogue and collective action.
One of the most eye-opening takeaways from the event was learning that in 2024, residents of Caledonia County experienced the highest rate of suicide compared to other counties in Vermont. This statistic underscores the pressing need for enhanced mental health services, education, and community outreach. We recognize that while progress has been made, there's still much work to be done to ensure that the mental health support is accessible and effective for everyone, especially within our schools and broader community.
Now we have the opportunity to take meaningful action. On May 17th, the Out of the Darkness Walk will take place at the St. Johnsbury School at 9:30 a.m. This walk is a powerful way to show solidarity, honor for those we have lost, and for advocate for continued process in mental health awareness and suicide prevention. We invite you to join our team, Dare to Care, at SJA, as we walk together to bring hope, support, and change to our community. Your participation can make a difference. Whether you walk, donate, or simply help spread the word, every action counts in the fight to prevent suicide. Let's stand together, raise awareness, and work toward the future where mental health is prioritized and no one feels alone in their struggle. For more information, join our team. To join our team, please reach out or scan the QR code on the posters hanging around campus. We'd love to have you join us on this journey towards hope healing. Thank you.
And so we're going to show a quick clip that was actually made by Ava. And I just want to again express and urge you all to, this is your opportunity. We think about ways that we can take action in our community And joining the walk on May 17th is just one of those many ways that we can take action. So please reach out. I do have a challenge. The most participation in your advisory, you will actually, you'll win some sort of prize to be announced at further date. So please participate. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And now let's show the short clip. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you all. We appreciate hearing about a powerful day of learning, and I know we'll respond to your call of action. Thank you. And finally, it's my pleasure to turn the stage over with a chapel talk here in April in Women's History Month. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Fatides.
Good morning. Hey. I gave this talk to Baby Chapel in March and intended to give it here too in March, but Big Chapel's schedule fills up much quicker, and we lose several chapel mornings to Vermont state testing. This is still worth talking about, though, even if the original context has passed. Some of you may wonder why we have specifically focused months like Women's History Month, and it's even easier to view this as exclusionary. And I want to emphasize that when I speak about Women's History Month, it's not that I don't admire and appreciate the work of men or non-binary folk. It's that I also admire and appreciate the work of women. This is a both-and situation rather than an either-or. The things we make time for are the things that last. And in 1987, we decided to set aside a period of time to specifically honor the achievements and movements of women. This is sick. I love women. Many women at this school. Ms. Hibbert, Ms. Dedham, Dr. Desjardins, Ms. Beck, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Mackenzie. I could keep going. A long time ago, after listening to each other speak about their experiences, their questions, their resentments, and their fears, women collaborated, resisted, and advocated so that they could have a diverse variety of life scripts for the normal woman. You could start a business and attend college and still be a woman. You could be a writer and live nomadically and not have children and still be a woman. You could get married and decide to have children and be a stay-at-home mom and still be a woman. The point is that women, the average woman, got to choose, that she wasn't funneled into a kind of life based solely on her sex. In light of the far-reaching and far too accessible voices on TikTok, Instagram, and other digital spaces that express hatred, judgment, or disrespect of women, one could write a speech that described women's experiences being on the receiving end of this hatred, judgment, and disrespect. But I don't think that would be convincing. We all already know that women experience these things. I don't want to talk about how I have worried about my safety, how my personal space has been violated, or any of the inappropriate ways some men have believed they could treat myself or other women. I would much rather take this time I've been afforded to talk about what is so admirable about women through the inimitable life of Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton is the great unifier. Name a divide that exists in this country, she's breached it. The audience at her concerts defy any notion of political lines across race, gender, class. All you hear is peace, love, and Dolly Parton. She's written over 3,000 songs, including the hit I Will Always Love You, made famous by Whitney Houston. And she can play around 20 instruments. In her 2014 performance at Glastonbury, she drew one of the largest crowds in its history. And while I want you to hear her incredible achievements, what I really want you to hear is, underneath and within these stories, how she treats women. In her famous origin story, she recounts how she went into town one day with her family in Sevierville, Tennessee, and there she saw what to her was the most beautiful woman she'd ever seen. She had big hair and wore revealing, tight-fitting clothes and high, high heels. She was a woman who stuck out in what was a poor and conservative corner of America. And as she's looking at this woman, who Parton identifies as the town tramp, her mother remarks, "That woman ain't nothing but trash," which prompted Ms. Parton to think to herself, that's what I want to be when I grow up, trash. Whoever honors or celebrates people on the margins? How radical is it that Dolly Parton would not only really truly see this woman, but would aspire to be her, would see her beauty? People don't do that. It's far too easy to take people at face value, especially those you put into deviant or bad boxes. It's far too easy to see people making choices that are different from ours and to cast our judgment and contempt. People spurn the town tramp. They look down on her, but not Dolly. As she began writing and performing her music, Dolly Parton would fashion her image based on this woman. The thing is, despite her overdone and artificial look, the magic of Dolly Parton is how real she is. There is an irony in her appearance. She presents as absolute femininity, vibrant colors, form-fitting outfits, big hair, custom high heels. It would be so easy to dismiss Dolly Parton as superficial if you didn't take the time to listen. And she was frequently underestimated, receiving criticism and mockery because of the way she dressed. But if you took this perspective, if instant judgment can be called a perspective, you'd miss someone remarkable and self-assured. Rather than change her look to fit society's narrow-minded standards, a choice that many women reasonably make in order to be taken seriously, she insisted on her freedom and joy to wear what she wanted. She took the joke away from critics by getting there first, refusing to make herself smaller to better fit the standards of others. In the words of one writer, if she was going to be a punchline, she was going to write it herself. Dolly Parton reminds us of several truths about the way we perceive other people, especially women. That to judge someone by their clothes, by their look, is to form an incomplete picture of them. That if a woman wears ultra-feminine or revealing clothing, it does not mean that she lacks depth. And that to judge someone based on their appearance is to remove yourself from a whole lot of joy and connection. Beyond flipping the script of fashion, Parton flipped the script in the genre of cheating songs with the hit Jolene. If you haven't heard it, your homework is to listen to it after school today. It's ballady and lonesome as the speaker pleads with her man's mistress to leave him alone. But while many songs about cheating are vengeful or insulting, the speaker in Jolene is admiring. She clearly sees why her husband fell in love with Jolene, and she tells her. She sings, "Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair, with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene." Even the woman a husband cheats on his wife with gets Parton's respectful and keen gaze. It's not that Parton is okay with the infidelity. The speaker is clearly asking Jolene to stop. It's that she advocated for herself without attacking her rival. As women, we are often cultured to compete with each other. We don't have to. Worse, sometimes without our knowing, we internalize negative and judgmental messages about women and direct that towards ourselves and to our fellow girls and women. Dolly Parton offers a reminder that being kind and respectful doesn't mean that you accept being treated unfairly or hurtfully. We can ask more for ourselves without attacking the person responsible for limiting us. In Dolly Parton, we get an icon of choice. She chose for herself a feminine style and also chose not to have kids. She crafted a hugely successful career and had a loving and highly supportive marriage of almost 60 years with her late husband, Carl Dean. She is, like most women, a mixture of the conventional and the unconventional. Dolly Parton reminds us to ask ourselves this question: how do you talk about women? What do you talk about when you talk about women? Why? If you find yourself frequently criticizing women, why? If you find yourself looking down on women, why? If you find yourself frequently hyping up women, why? Let's agree to pay attention to how we regard women. Let's talk about the women we admire and appreciate. Your friends, your mothers, your bosses, your favorite writers, your girlfriends, your aunts. And if no one wants to listen, I do. Swing by Ranger 117 and tell me all about her. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vitides, for a powerful message this morning, a thought-provoking one. Thanks again. Have a great day, faculty.
You too, John. Thank you.
Seniors. Juniors. From the front, sophomores.